Hi, welcome back to my channel. Episode 8 today, Standing in Your Power. What does that mean? Well, what's your superpower? And how do you tap into it? And what is all this talk about standing in our power? Well, I'm going to talk about that today. And after I give my lesson, I will again provide a short sound bath at the end for meditation and help you to tap into your power a little bit. So, what does standing in your power mean? Well, it's referring to being confident, authentic, and assertive in expressing ourselves or making decisions. It's meditating, reflecting, and then recognizing what our strengths, our values, and our boundaries are, and not deviating from knowing what those things are and living our life accordingly. It's also not letting external influences sway you or your decisions or your actions, which can be pretty tough, especially when we're pretty much raised to follow a certain prescription of how our life should go. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes. So what prevents us from standing in our power? Well, it's quite the list here, and I'm sure that you can relate to at least a couple of these. I know I can. So number one, fear of judgment, which leads to self-doubt and a hesitation in us expressing our authenticity. That actually goes along with a couple of these other on the list, but I'll tie them together when I get to it. So fear of judgment, worrying too much about what others think instead of focusing on our own needs and desires. Number two, and it's tied to with the fear of judgment, is a lack of self-confidence. That's what happens when we give too much power outside of ourselves to others and what they think, and not placing the importance on our own what's best for us. And number three, people-pleasing tendencies. These are all tied together, really. Prioritizing other people's needs and opinions ahead of our own, and following through with that, with actions, maybe doing something for someone else when there's really something that we need to be doing for ourselves. So what else can prevent us from standing in our power is negative self-talk, internal criticism, and self-doubt. Too much of that can really chip away at your confidence. Past traumas of any nature create emotional barriers if they've not been healed, worked through and healed. So past traumas can definitely prevent us from standing in our power. Unhealthy relationships that are toxic and don't support us as best that they could undermine our feelings of self-worth. And for a lot of people, unhealthy relationships exist in their lives, for most of their lives. So by kind of going through the healing process and learning what we need, what we want, what our true self desires, what our place of power is in the world, eventually we are able to identify these unhealthy relationships and either work through and with that relationship, or sometimes it's needed just to walk away. So another thing that prevents us from standing in our power would be a lack of boundaries, and this compromises our sense of personal power and can leave us feeling overwhelmed when we're not letting people know exactly what we need and don't need, what we want and don't want, when things are okay to approach us and when it's not a good time to approach us. Comparing ourselves to others is another obstacle to standing in our power, where we spend too much time looking at others and then comparing ourselves to them, what they have, what they do, what they say, what they think, what's their job, what kind of car do they drive, all these things, leaving us, if we're putting too much emphasis on it, feeling inadequate, and then not recognizing our own uniqueness, and not so much what does that other person have or do or say, but what do we want to do? What do we want to have? What do we want to say? That's the important part. Number 9, preventing us from standing in our power is wanting to stay in our comfort zone, which limits our personal growth. The comfort zone is great. I'm a homebody. I love my comfort zone. But I force myself to break out of it and get out there and interact with people, but in ways that are fulfilling to me and to my heart, my soul, and my spirit, doing things that I love with people that I love. External expectations and the pressure to conform to society's norms is a big obstacle to standing in your power. And depending on where your power lies and where your desires in your heart is leading you and what to do with your life, it can really clash with what is considered normal. Here's a little tidbit about me. So I've always been very different and kind of the black sheep of my family. I'm a musician, so I've sort of always done things in a non-traditional way, but although I felt that way in my heart, I used to beat myself up and think, oh, I'm so different. Why can't I just be like everybody else? Why can't I just fit in? And, a lot of comparing myself to others and trying to fit into society's norms, and it's never worked for me. It never has. But the good news is that through my healing journey, and primarily over the last, for sure, 10, 15 years, I've been able to appreciate my uniqueness, and I've now of the mindset that I am unique and different for a reason. I'm meant to stand out, and that's my superpower. So I'm tapping into that and using that to my advantage instead of resisting it, fighting against it, trying to change it. I now accept that this is who I am. This is part of my purpose. I'm here to stand out for a reason. So I'm done trying to fit into society's norms. That may ruffle some feathers, but my feathers are not ruffled, so I'm good. All right, so what's the opposite of standing in your power? Well, another pretty good list here. The opposite of standing in your power is being unable to assert yourself, feeling powerless, feeling submissive, yielding to other people's wishes and opinions. A deep sense of insecurity is the opposite of standing in your power, where you're doubting all your decisions and your abilities and feeling unsure about everything. An attitude of victimhood, blaming all external forces and others for things that are going wrong that actually had to do with our own decisions and actions in our life. It would be the opposite of standing in your power, remaining in a state of victimhood and blaming everybody else. Conformity, what I was just talking about, conforming to social norms, suppressing and sacrificing what we feel and know in our heart in order to fit in. A lack of boundaries, not asserting limits with those around us and allowing them to overstep into our lives. Instead of placing those boundaries, the healthy boundaries, where they're needed. Avoidance of responsibility and shifting blame is a big obstacle to standing in your power, and the opposite of standing in your power. That's called not taking accountability, and it's not an easy thing to do. It's humbling, but very, very necessary for our personal growth. Passivity, passively accepting situations without engaging. So you may have been in circumstances, whether it was a meeting or just a gathering of family and friends, and there may have been some opinions and behaviors that were being demonstrated and expressed that you find quite offensive, and possibly you chose to stay quiet. Sorry, I locked up there for a second. Possibly, and we've all done this, where we chose to remain silent when we felt the need within us to speak up against whatever this injustice or whatever's being said. That's could need some challenging, but by being passive and not speaking up, that's definitely the opposite of standing in your power. Fear-based decision making, allowing fear to dictate our choices. It's normal to have fear about choices. It's normal to have fear about making changes. That's okay. I'm all about pushing past the fear, getting past it, because I know the great reward lies on the other side. But many of us, and I was for years, locked in a state of fear. Worried too much about what everybody else was going to think and say. Dependence and relying excessively on others for support and validation, which goes right along with what I was saying about my own years of not standing in my power, worrying too much about what other people think and feel about my life and my decisions, running ideas and thoughts past others and relying too much on their feedback, on their validation of whether they thought this was something I should be doing or not. These are all things that I have since modified and adapted. Pardon me, I've got to wipe my nose. Okay, so that's, ways that we're not standing in our power. But now let's talk about ways to claim and stand in your power. Self-awareness. As I mentioned in the early part of the video, through meditation and just spending time to get to know ourselves, we are able to identify our strengths, our weaknesses, our values, and our beliefs. And then integrating those firmly into our sense of self and being willing to stand in our power, to stand firmly in our truth, as long as it is supporting these strengths, values, and beliefs. Another way to claim and stand in your power is with confidence. Trust your abilities and your decisions. Look at the results you get when you're following your own truth and following your own path. Look at the results, because that will bring you the confidence. Setting those boundaries that I talked about, the unhealthy boundaries, respectfully but clearly defining your limits. And in another video I mentioned that this can change over time, because we change and evolve over time, and that's okay. As long as you're doing it respectfully and kindly with others when you're setting these limits, I think that they would gain a newfound respect for you for wanting to do this and be true to yourself and do what's right in a healthy way. Being authentic and embracing our unique qualities, not trying to conform or fit in, can help us to stand firmly in our power. And positive self-talk is another way that we can enrich and strengthen our sense of self-power. So mantras and affirmations foster a positive mindset and sort of help get us back on track. So one of the mantras that I've said for years, and I started this one before I took my trip to India, was that I am brave, I am strong, and I have courage. And I didn't believe it when I first started saying it, but I continued, throughout the day, numerous times whenever it crossed my mind, along with some other mantras that I was saying. But this is the one I wanted to point out, is the one where I said, I am brave, I am strong, I have courage. I was very anxious about traveling halfway across the world on my own to a foreign country I had never been to, and not knowing the culture, not knowing what to expect. But that mantra, I am brave, I am strong, I have courage, really helped me get me through that trip, and it made quite a difference. And to this day, I have many mantras that I say, depending on the day. There's different ones for different days. Maintaining a sense of mindfulness and staying present in the moment. Not worrying too much about, well, what happened last time when I made this choice, exhibited this behavior? What could happen next week if I do this? Those type of thoughts are tied to worrying. And I'll probably do a whole video just about worrying and what a waste of time it is. But worrying solves nothing. It literally eats away at our energy and uses up our time in a non-productive way, because it can't change anything. So anyways, moving on from mindfulness and staying present in the moment. Stop worrying, everybody. Continuous learning and investing in our personal and professional growth and development it can be a big element of the foundation of our self-worth. So when we invest in our personal growth and our professional development, we're enriching that aspect of ourselves that we know, love, and appreciate, and getting to choose what aspects we want to develop and grow can definitely strengthen our sense of self-worth and our power. So having courage, stepping outside that comfort zone, and facing challenges and uncertainties. Yes, you may have fear. Yes, you're probably going to have anxiety, but do it anyway. Push past it, and you will find great reward on the other side. Gratitude. In all things, be thankful. There's always something to be grateful for. And by appreciating our accomplishments, all the good things in our life. It reinforces our sense of well-being and our sense of empowerment. So examples of standing in your power would include these type of things: confident decision making, taking responsibility, pursuing your goals, having assertive communication without being offensive, self-reliance, continuous learning and growing, as I just mentioned, doing what you love and what brings you joy, speaking up against injustice, speaking up for yourself when it's appropriate, and honor and acting on your core beliefs and values, all examples of ways that you can stand in your power. It takes practice, like a lot of these spiritual concepts. If you want to think of it as spiritual, you don't have to, but it does take practice. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you need to go back and take notes from this video, and then sort of check on your list during the day and see, where am I at as far as, this whole concept of standing in my power. Am I worried too much about what other people think, or am I just feeling confident and ready to go for it even though I'm scared? So anyway, this is, however brief, this is the information that I have for you today, a little lesson on standing in your power. If you have any questions about how I was able to fully regain and stand in my power, I would love to share that with you. I'm actually working on a couple projects on the side that will give a lot more background information to my story and how I was able to reach these levels of self-actualization. So coming up next, a little sound bath with meditation to help you tap into your power. Stay tuned. So if you're not already, get yourself in a comfortable position, either lying down or reclining if possible in a quiet space, and eliminate any external noises for the next few minutes. If you're not using earbuds or headphones, you might want to try that with the sound meditation and see if you get better sound quality. So get yourself comfortable and sit back, close your eyes, and let's focus on the breath, sending a signal to the mind and body that we're going to take a few minutes for self-care, tapping into our higher selves. Take a deep breath in through your nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out your mouth fully for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale deeply through the nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out the mouth. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Inhale deeply through the nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just relax. Scan your body for any tension, starting at the top of the head, across the forehead, the jaw, neck, shoulders. Relax your jaw. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, tell yourself release and let go. Scanning further now across the upper back and chest, over the shoulders and down the arms, all the way to the fingertips. Starting to feel a sense of relaxation settling in. Checking the torso, the abdomen, mid and lower back for any tension. Take a deep breath in and relax. Settling in for just a few minutes of self-care as we tap into our sense of power. Scanning further now through the pelvis, hips, and buttocks for any tension and consciously relaxing. Down the legs, front and back, past the knees, past the calves, the feet, the ankles, and all the way to the toes. Feeling a sense of relaxation settling in now through your whole entire body. Deep breath in, just relax and let go on the exhale. Setting the intention now, you can repeat after me or just listen and take it in. Setting the intention for this session, that you will receive what is needed and be able to let go of what's no longer serving you. Connecting and tapping into that sense of your higher self, your power source, which is located in the solar plexus chakra. We'll be heading there soon in just a minute. Taking what is needed and letting the rest go. We're going to focus our attention now on the solar plexus, which is located right above your belly button. This is considered the third chakra and known often as your power center. So focus your attention right above your belly button and see a swirling vortex of energy colored in bright yellow. Brighter than the sun, brighter than sunflowers, brighter than any yellow you could imagine. In fact, it's such a bright yellow, it's almost white. See that swirling vortex of energy. This is the source of your self-confidence and your self-worth, and as I mentioned, your power center resides here. See the center of that swirling vortex of yellow energy begin to open now. And any doubt, fear, anxiety, concerns of what others think, all these blockages I talked about earlier that prevent us from standing in our power, we're now going to release. So see that swirling vortex of energy. The center is open. And with your intention, release fear. With your intention, release doubt. With your intention, release whatever is standing in the way of you and your true self. You might see it as a black smoke coming out of that center of that chakra, or you may not visualize any type of energy, but just know that with your intention is how we make things happen. So we are releasing all these negative intentions and emotions in order to make space for what is needed, which is your sense of self-worth, your confidence, your assurance and trust in yourself and your decisions that you make are right for you. So as we release what is no longer needed, we're opening space to absorb what is needed. And again, you may see this visually of some representation in your mind, but you don't have to. You're not doing anything wrong. In my last video, I spoke about our higher selves. That aspect of ourselves that knows exactly what we need and when we need it. And so now tap into that, to your higher self, and ask for guidance on how you can better stand in your power. In your mind's eye, still seeing that solar plexus chakra spinning and turning. The center's been opened and we've released and created space for what is needed. Pushing past your fears, following your true north, and letting your higher self guide you to what steps you'll need to take to attain that, to reach that level. Breathe and relax. Trust the process. In these quiet moments, as you're being still, don't try to make anything happen. Just be open to receiving. Be still and listen. Taking nice deep breaths. Feeling a deep sense of relaxation. I see standing in my powers, doing what's right for me, and being willing to fight to hold that ground. Express gratitude to all that you've released, for it did serve its purpose for a while, but is no longer needed. And express gratitude to that which is needed, which is now entering your spirit, your essence. But it's something you've got to work at. Very rare for it to just magically happen. You have to do the work, and I know it's not easy. But keep coming back to these videos and hopefully I can help you through this. Let's close the center of that chakra now that we've released and absorbed. Seeing that vortex of beautiful, very bright yellow light spinning and turning as we watch the center close. Don't ever want to leave the chakras wide open. May you find the courage and the strength to stand in your power, beginning today and moving forward, and every day to follow. Thanks for joining me today. I do appreciate it. I know it's just a small group right now, but there's a number of you that have been keeping up and watching all my videos, and I do greatly appreciate it. I've got a couple more lined up, so there may be another video as soon as this coming weekend. Take good care of yourself. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.